Well, hello everyone, and hello chat room, and those watching on YouTube. This is the September 25th, 2015, on the 9th of September, AMA. Great start, Adam. Nailed it. And I am recording this live, taking questions from chat room to maybe do this every couple of months. If you guys have questions that have built up that are not kind of like particularly part of the live stream, or you can't ever do it when a show comes up, you can ask me here. Start over, reset, blame. No, I'm not restarting. We'll be good to go. I think we'll be fine. But I'll sit down with everybody for the next 40 minutes, and we'll hang out here and take some questions. If you guys have any, then please feel free. Wipe it and reset. No, no, nonsense. Nonsense. This is a Q&A. That means we did a cosplay competition in the middle? Yeah, probably. Probably. Who's gonna cosplay for us? Does the question be rated PG? I mean, I can just always not answer certain questions. Hi, future me. From Kin to future Kin. Hello. We need Sam epic speech. Yeah, I don't know. We need one of those. What time tomorrow are you going to play Darkest Dungeon? I'm not playing Darkest Dungeon tomorrow. I don't know when I'll play it. You'll have to just wait for the dockets to find out. Jeez. So impatient. What time tomorrow are you going to play Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball? Again, probably won't have time to play it this week. So, won't have time. What do I planned after the catch-up episodes, disregarding BlizzCon stuff? I mean, there'll be an update, depending on when you're watching this right now, and for those in chat, there'll be an update in the Bay's Take 2. Whenever I get around to finally getting that online, it's mostly worked out for what I want to do, but I haven't had time to record it all. If it's live right now when you're watching this, you can go watch it somewhere on the internet. But I have an interview coming up with Limit, the now kind of snuck in US First Guild that killed Archimon Mythic first. I have an interview with Limit, but that won't be until October. I have obviously the pre-BlizzCon episode on November the 1st, and then there'll be a post-BlizzCon episode on November the 15th, which will wrap up. I plan to have Preach and Nobble on the wrap-up one, and Bellular and probably Brutal on the 1st, or Bellular and insert other person here. I haven't decided yet exactly, but I've asked Bellular and he said he's good for it, so we'll see. But other than that, I don't know what I have planned. I haven't really planned past that point because I'm hoping that beta is out and I can start doing a lot of beta live streams on Sunday, which would take place of the show, and just like long, like 8 hours of Legion beta. So we'll see how it goes. I also plan to do like between 1 and 3 hour. I haven't decided how long I want them to be yet, but I would love to have like a Thursday Legion beta warrior look at. And we're going to look at all the warrior specs, protection, fury, arms, and it'll be just this giant like powwow of exploration and nonsense for like between 1 and 3 hours. I'm thinking probably 2 would be a good point. About a length of a show, and I would put that also on YouTube as well. So there, we'll see how that goes. That's like I don't know how Legion's beta is going to work out, or when it's going to be live. If it's going to be live before Christmas or after Christmas, so we'll have to see. When am I going to play Don't Starve together with chat room? Well, the new expansion's coming out, and I know Zillions wants to play it, so we'll see. What's behind the veil? Usually a mouth? Katsu's very close to a Mythic Archimon. Get in there. When are you going to abandon the sacrilegious Death Knight and go back to your right proper Paladin? If Paladins get some love in Legion, because right now they're like really lame. I'm not a fan of them, to be honest. When am I gonna stop buying gray shirts? Never. Never, Master Wayne. After a week of the scheduled non-WoW content, how do you feel about how it's gone so far? Well, it's weird because we did the 1 session live stream last week, but then I can't do the full sessions all week this week, so it's interesting. Honestly, I don't particularly know. I do like having the extra time to play other games, and I think once I get over this hump and I can get my schedule down to I'm not going to bed too late, I can wake up, I can work out, I can work on stuff for the hospital, and then I can prep and get it live for the stream. It's really coming to a head now that I have a lot of time that I can't do all 4 of those things. The 4th thing being, like, work on war crimes. Like, I honestly haven't worked on war crimes in weeks because I can't. Another 3D modeler just, like, left the project. That's the hardest part for me right now. So what I think is going to happen is I'm going to talk to my buddies that I spoke to that do a actual modeling, like they're a 3D company, and see if it would not be astronomically expensive to get all the 3D modeling work done professionally. But I mean, that could cost between $5,000 to $12,000 by itself. So I don't know. But I am gonna wonder. I'm gonna talk to my animators to see if the oh god, I just totally forgot what it's called. What is the animation suite that you use that's on Steam? I can't remember what it's called. The Steam animation suite that like people use to make dumb TF2 videos. But you can drop in whatever you want in that animating suite and record and animate stuff right there. So I don't know, would that be easier than doing like 3ds Max or Maya? I don't know I don't know. We'll see. A lot of things I just haven't figured out. Source Filmmaker. There you go. Thank you. Yes, that's what it's called. Yeah. Yes, Source Filmmaker. Gary's mod? Yes. General hopes and wishes for BlizzCon announcements. The artifact system to not be copy pasta of both systems we've had in MoP and Warlords for Legendaries. That's probably my biggest thing. So we'll see. Were enhancements to be renamed, what would you name it? I have no idea. I don't think any other names really make sense that I have to like go into my lore dictionary and look them up. Because like enhancement just makes sense because we are enhanced by the elements. And other things and titles don't really make sense unless they really change how the class is going to work. So I mean, because they both have their own thing. Like, Elemental makes sense because it's a caster with lightning and fire and stuff, but I don't actually have a name that I could think of right off the top of my head, Daniel. If you get the ability to rehaul a class completely, which class, and what are your envisions for the 3 specs? Well, I don't know about 3 specs. I could probably narrow that down to 1 spec latest. I really feel like if they redid enhancement, just because I think it feels good to what Thrall plays like in Heroes of the Storm. And dual wielding for me, when it came to Enhancement Shaman, didn't necessarily always feel right. I personally always thought that two-handing would be the way that enhancement goes. Like, Shamans either had like a one-hander, like a fist weapon, like the old school Warcraft 3 Shamans, like a fist weapon, like a claw or something like that, right? Which could be like an axe or a mace or whatever. And that was their offensive melee physical attributes, right? And they enhanced their weapon with elements. Or if you had a two-hander, like a giant totem, like the Tauren, right? But they weren't really shamans though, they were like earthbreakers or whatever. So I always kind of wondered about why we just got dual wield just because. But I don't know if we'd ever be able to, you'd have to really overhaul a class to make it have like a one-hander and a free hand. And the cast animations and spells have to come out of like the free hand, and of course all the auto attacking and all the Wind Fury stuff and all that has to go off the one hand. It isn't. I mean, from a gameplay perspective, you either two-hand or you dual wield, right? That's just how the game works. I just wonder if Warcraft will ever move away from this archetype that has been ingrained in the game for over a decade and give casters animations with one-handers or staves. Maybe work out that mages, like, you know, a staff or it's a mace. Staff or a sword, right? And that's all you can use. And, like, really kind of fine-tune this, which they will kind of fine-tune this with artifact weapons. Whereas your weapons are sort of iconic to your not only play style and cast animations, but flavor of your class. Like Combat Rogue, having like a sword, like a rapier, and then like a pistol, which is very gangplank and piratey, but they've kept saying that like rogues, the combat rogues are like swashbucklers. They're not stab you in the back and run around with daggers and go and, you know, poison, stuff like that. So it's I wonder if they'll ever really devolve classes and then evolve them to a point that really feels that that's part of their fantasy, which what they said, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll do that. Obviously, I'll leave behind in chat, so I don't want to miss anyone's questions. My favorite boss encounter? There's a lot of ways to criterize a boss encounter. Is it my favorite because of the feeling I had when we killed it for the first time? That'd probably be Muru, pre-nerf. Is it my feeling I had with achieving a very encounter-driven, personal responsibility, tough encounter? That would be, you know, Heroic Lei Shen. It's a different, I mean, there's two answers right there for you. A personal favorite, I mean, I loved Muru fight for the first time. Heroic Lei Shen was amazing. First Black Fuse kill was also amazing, because it was like this weird two-part split fight with a conveyor belt and the team. Re-killing it over and over and over and over again wasn't as fun, but the first kill was pretty awesome. I don't think of anyone else that sticks out in my mind. I kind of liked the old style in Wrath and Burning Crusade, where fights were like 12 to 15 minutes long. And the mechanics compared to nowadays standards would be really lame and boring and easy. But I kind of like that marathon fight. Like Arthas, Heroic Arthas, when I first killed Heroic Arthas, it was a slugfest. And the inside Frostmourne phase and the outside Frostmourne phase was just this entirely like transformative process, it felt like. And I don't know exactly if they'll ever have any encounters like that again that feel like because I guess Margok and Cho'Gall did, but the fights now, I've used it before, is my new like keyword phrase, my new little trigger word is it's like high octane. The fights, to make them challenging or difficult now in World of Warcraft, have to like be high octane. Like an effect is going off every 3 or 4 seconds, so you gotta move here, move there, and the range do this, the healers do that, and the cooldown here, and the tank swap here, and the melee move here. Like, something has to always happen. Oh, boom, 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 X, Y, Z, A, B, C, back and forth. And, like, Illidan. I'm thinking of Illidan Burning Crusade. He was like, tank shield blocks the shear. You DPS him down. Like, you keep hitting him and doing damage and whatever. And then he goes up in the air and flies up, and then you have 2 Flames of Azzinoth. And it's just like a kiting path, and making sure you're spread out so that the beams don't hit people, and the beam kiter has to run. If you get targeted by the beam, don't run through people, you know, whatever. Like, it wasn't as hectic or crazy where it is now. Where it's like, we used to just, you know, drive on the highway back in the day, and now we're doing some, like, Formula 500 shit. Where they have to keep compounding cake layers onto these encounters. You can look in the Dungeon Journal. Look in stuff from Burning Crusade or Wrath of the Lich King Dungeon Journals. Some bosses had, like, 3 or 4 mechanics the whole fight. And now you look at Dungeon Journals, and they have, like, Phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, sub-phases, adds that have buffs and debuffs and abilities, and the boss changes the abilities he does in every phase, and every 15% or 30%, something else changes and happens and gets different, and it's how the game has changed, but I don't know. It's different now it is. And the only thing I can say about it, it's like, it's high octane. And sometimes those fights don't feel as fun to defeat, because my pillow just time out? Yeah, I didn't know the fuzzy green cushions time out? That is awful. That is so funny. And that's just how the fights feel now. I don't know if they'll ever go back to something different. Will I answer this question, Dalthier? No. I also answer the war crime stuff, I guess, with when Packer's question didn't see it. Like, all the concept art is done, except, like, a couple, like, of minor characters. There are more voice actors on the project. A lot of the casting was done and is done, but I haven't been able to write on the project in forever, and getting modelers that want to model this stuff without being like directly always like compensated, like you're gonna work on this for 8 hours, you're getting $50 an hour, right? I can't do that. I don't have that kind of money. So it's hard to keep people motivated and attached to the project that'll stay attached to the project. So that's why I might try to go the professional route. We'll see. When do I quit on growing a mustache? Never, I don't think. I might try it after all this hubbub with the hospital died down this week. I don't know. I just don't... I don't like that feeling, I think, of having hair on my upper lip. I like the beard actually needs to get trimmed. It's too gruff on the sides. I gotta trim the sides down a bit. I love the goatee look, but I don't think... Maybe the beard would look a little better on me if I was... once I lose some weight. I think it makes my face look too fat. Will you have a beta discussion a week or two into the beta? Well, once the beta stuff starts rolling around a while, I don't know if I'll have shows like I normally will, Scrappy. I want to kind of replace that with live beta discovery and streams. Maybe I'll bring on a guest or two to just like play the beta, if they're in the beta. We'll have to see. I don't know how beta's going to work out this year. I assume I'm getting it because I've had it the last 2 years. And because of my influencer status and the stuff I do to help promote Blizzard and the game. So, but I don't know if I will get it. I hope I get it. Bellular put out a video about adventure mode, Slowpoke, that I haven't watched yet to see what adventure mode is. Personally, what I think adventure mode should be is single player content or small group, 3, like scenarios, right? The adventures would, which I'll talk about in a moment, scale in HP. Only in HP, though, because they don't really scale in damage because it's like a scenario again. 1 to 3 people. So you can either go by yourself or go with friends. The having more friends with you, having 2 friends with you might increase the, say, like, reward rate that drops off of stuff at the end or off of the bosses in there, kind of like Diablo, okay? Like the magic find or whatever. Or just means that you can just take 3 people to you, go with you, and you do it with 3 people, and not go it by yourself. But 1 to 3 people, like 1, 2, like you and your buddy, or you and your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, or whatever, or you and 2 friends together, whatever. Adventure mode should be almost random, a system that's random every day, where there is a set amount of adventures through the Explorers League, where you can queue into the Explorers League for an adventure, and depending on the season it is in, or the day of the week you queue up, or whatever, or there can be events that the Explorers League is like, we're looking for these things, can you help us? The adventures send you back to, and I'll repeat this, to any dungeon or raid. Let me go back again. To any dungeon or raid in the game in your own little instanced version, and when you go there, there'll be different types of mobs or enemies or bosses that are, of course, tuned to level 110. And say you get, we're looking for remnants of blah, and it's in the Sunwell. And you get dropped into the Sunwell, you're ported into like a random side of it or like a different entrance, right? And you're in the Sunwell, the raid itself, and you have to like weed through some mobs and some trash, like a mini boss here, and then you find, maybe in like the Twin Eridar's room, that there are some Draenei Coven nuts that are like experimenting on the remnants of the Sunwell, whatever. And you kill them, you kill the boss, the special boss or whatever, and that's it. And it is kind of, maybe because I'm playing a lot of Diablo, but I feel like that in World of Warcraft would translate well. You get crafting mats, resources maybe for your artifact, for like different parts of the grind that we'll have to do for the artifact weapon. And it'll be quick. I'm thinking like 15 minutes tops on like a adventure, okay? Or you could get sent back to the Dead Mines, and you have to go to the quarry part of the dead mine. So you start like halfway before the quarry, and you get to go to the quarry part and like find some ore that's whatever. It could be multi-level because the stuff you're doing, excuse me, the stuff you're doing and getting resources for could span the entire game of World of Warcraft. Like, you're doing things for not your level 110 benefit only. You know, what if the masons at Stormwind need more stone, or the quarry in the dead mines they want to reopen to help rebuild the park in Stormwind? And you get a random adventure to go into the dead mines and liberate or clear out all the riffraff in the mine and reclaim it. I think that there has to be enough of these either randomly generated reasons to go to different dungeons or raids of everything in the last expansion. I think it'd probably start at Mists of Pandaria, because it wouldn't include Draenor because it's on the different world. So it'd be Mists of Pandaria backwards. To go to these places and get things for people, or to find stuff, or to help someone. You know, suddenly going back into Dire Maul to this ogre wants to challenge you. This big-ass ogre, and he's just like, I want to challenge you, so fight through my minions and get to me. And then you kill the ogre, and you get, hopefully, a bunch of gold or something like that, maybe some gems that you can use for jewel crafting. Like, it has to be something that has a reward for the new profession system, which has, like, profession quests and stuff. And also make you feel like you're going around all of Azeroth doing this stuff at max level, either with you, a friend, or 3. So 3 people total. That really makes you feel like you're jumping around all over Azeroth again and going back to these old places and revisiting things, but you're doing new stuff. Because there's so many assets in this game. It could even be open world. What if, like, you have to go to the new Desolus Oasis because the Centaur are invading. You have to go to the Desolus Oasis. You spawn somewhere outside the Oasis, and you have to, like, travel through like the dried creek bed with some centaurs ambushing you, and you get to the Oasis. They have to like hold off waves of invading centaur for like 3 minutes, and it gets stronger and stronger waves. And when you do, then the druids can come in and reclaim the Oasis. Boom, there you go. Like 10-15 minute stuff that you can feel like you can keep doing and doing and doing and doing, and you're never getting the same damn thing over and over again, because dungeons in World of Warcraft right now are so flat and stale and monotonous, and everything is the same every time you go. And it's just not creative and inventive. They're beautiful. The art team is great, but it's just, there's nothing that makes you feel like you're I'm gonna jump into World of Warcraft and do some adventures, right? Like, there's no, like, I want to jump in and play for an hour and jump out. Like, if you jump into the game right now, you check your garrison, you check your shipyard, maybe you can go do Tanan. Maybe you can go do a couple pet battles. I guess. What if you don't want to do pet battles like me? Nothing to do there. What if you don't want to... I mean, you can go around the world and achievement hunt, but what if you have, like, every achievement that's not in raids or PvP? You don't want PvP. Like, there's nothing that's making you just go out in the world and do random stuff. That's what I hope Adventure Mode's going to be. In that huge, long-winded answer. What do you guys say about it? I want to know if anyone, like, had an idea. Oh no. I'm talking about what I wanted, I thought Adventure Mode will be, or what I think it should be. I mean, maybe, Nikolai? You asked about why not have it go up to however many friends you have or want to bring along. I don't know if they could make it scale again and only in HP, really. But I don't know if they would have to make it so it gets much more substantially harder if you brought in, like, 15 people to go on an adventure. Like, if you're doing, again, you're doing, like, the Centaur holdout mission. If you go solo, you know, it's, like, 3 or 4 Centaurs, and 5 or 6, then, like, 8 or 9, and, you know, the waves get kind of extensive, but, like, they're not, like, crazy high HP or whatever, so you can actually compete with them. But if you go with, like, 15 people, the Centaurs need tons of health, and maybe even spawning elites earlier. And that's a lot of, like, rogue-like-ish work that I don't know if Blizzard could really manage to code that into their system. If they could, it'd be phenomenal. But I think 1 to 3 keeps it back to the days of, like, it's kind of a scenario, or it's you and your boyfriend or girlfriend, or your husband or your wife or whatever to go in and do it together, or you to go do solo if you want to do solo adventures. But again, I said if you do, like, more than one person, you get, like, maybe magic find. Maybe you get more gems at the end, or more crafting materials, or more possible bits for your artifact weapon. It can be RNG oriented because it's kind of like a fun grind. I mean, thousands of people play adventure mode right now in Diablo 3, me included, having a blast. It's fun to jump into something you know you can beat it, get a whole bunch of random shinies at the end, and then like, oh, I got this, and I can go for here, and I can do this for that, and I can do this profession quest now, and then go do it again. Nothing in WoW has that, like, retaining in and out, bounce around feel that isn't just raids. And raids is like, wipe to one boss 100 times, kill it, move on to the next boss. And then every week you go back, it's the same fucking bosses. And they could have seasonal events in adventure mode, right? They could have spring, summer, fall, winter. Maybe a Hoon, right? Instead of being like a random dungeon, you walk in, you fuck him in 30 seconds, and you walk out. Like, he could then become an adventure, where you're in this, like, winterized slave pen, you have to fight through all these weird snow crabs and stuff like that, and then you get to him at the end, right? It expands the system. Then the Headless Horseman, same thing. I mean, Headless Horseman is kind of already what I would think an adventure should be. And some could be really short, but if they're really short, like if it's a, you know, go kill the Headless Horseman, right? You take you or 2 or 3 people with you, right? Two to three. And you go in by thinking about HP. The bosses don't have to be hard. They just need to last a while. Because my biggest complaint is like Azuka Blade Fury. Now, I had good gear, but I never heard anyone having a problem with Azuka Blade Fury. The quest leading up to her, maybe. But all this huffle and buff and guff and rough and tumble attitude, and I'm gonna kick your ass, you mortal scum. And she has like 2.5 million HP. And you can use her garrison ability on her and totally crush her in the face. Things need to have HP to actually feel like you're fighting something that matters. If Azuka had 8 million HP, you'd be like, well, holy shit, maybe I actually kill these ads so she doesn't get their souls and get her a more powerful blade debuff because they'll start hurting me, right? You have to, like, care about the mechanics. But I had, like, 2 million HP. You just drop your stupid 3 stacks of orbital bombardment on her and she's dead. It was just lame. So... well... Akashe, you say, like, fill up the bar and a boss spawns. I'm not talking about the Rift mechanic, even though the Rift mechanic in D3 could be used. Again, this system could be huge. They could really kind of just base it on what the D3 adventure mode is, manipulate it into a World of Warcraft MMO setting, and then expound upon it. It could be solo boss kills, it could be tracing through a long, winding road through BRD to find something. They could add in new rooms to places. There are unfinished dungeons in this game, like, where's the Stormwind Penitentiary? The actual, like, the main prison in Stormwind. That instance portal, I think, is gone now. But, like, where is the other Stockades? Like, the real prison? It doesn't exist, but it's in the game files. There was the other PvP battleground that was up in Ajara. The Furbog holdout, or whatever the hell it was. Like, make that an adventure. Like, there are so many things, but I think it's such a huge idea and so awesome it won't happen. Because it's so much work to make a system like this. Is like a brand new game, basically. But this is one system. So, the Karazhan Crypts, there you go. Like, you're right there. Yeah, there's so many places you can go. Yeah, it was a supermax prison for, like, demons and stuff, and criminals of war. Yeah, the Stormwind Penitentiary, whatever the game file was called. Like, there are so many places they could just let explore and bring into the game. And again, they could have time-limited events, like, Jaina needs your help to go on an adventure. Like, right? You have, like, it's a 3-week adventure. Star Wars Old Republic does this stuff, and there are these time-limited adventures that get people, it's like time walking, but not just time walking. And like the bounty hunting week is to get a whole bunch of these random quest and missions in Star Wars: Old Republic, to fly around to different worlds, to find different primary targets and kill them, or bring them in, right, or capture them, right? And it's always different. Like, the people you have to go find and get are always all over the damn worlds in multiple galaxies. So it's kind of like a big fetch quest, but it's always different. Like, you're not going out and finding the same damn bounty hunter every day you log in. So like something like that feels... It just has to feel like you're in the world doing stuff. And that's the weird thing for me, is that I don't feel like there's enough reasons for me to go out into the World of Warcraft and just do stuff. There's just not. Anyway. Let me catch up with chat real quick here. If I could bring something back in Classic, what would it be? Realm-wide events. Like the opening of the Gates of AQ. Or the Naxxramas Scourge invasion. So... like, an event that your server has to work towards. Yeah, maybe Daniel. Yeah, General Visits was a good fight. I mean, Ulduar, by long and far, I think Ulduar might be one of the best designed raids with bosses ever in World of Warcraft, so far, anyway. Like, there are some great encounters recently, but Ulduar, I don't think anyone's going to argue with it. Ulduar is just phenomenal. Beta for attending BlizzCon, maybe. Remember a joke boss in WoW? Like a boss with just silly mechanics? Joke boss. For a joke boss in WoW. It's a toughie. My favorite joke boss. That's hard. There's a lot of weird ones. Malagos was kind of weird. Or, oh, there's no freaking raid guide for the Wrath yet. Oh god, the fungal giant in Naxxramas. You killed his own spores to get the damage buff to kill him. Can't remember his name. Lothab? Was it Lothab, I think, right? I want to say it was Lothab. Well, yeah, I don't know. Again, Velocite, or Velocity, but spelled differently, or Velo. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The Magic Find thing is just... it could be not even worth it. Maybe you just want to do more people on an adventure because it's just fun to bring more people on an adventure. This the survival hunters and demon hunters of melee hurt the remainder of melee classes of mythic guilds. Blizzard's general response to that, this is what the raid sizes are flexible. Well, it's gonna suck for mythic raiding. My only thing is I hope that survival hunters aren't suddenly like really good and you don't want to have marksman hunters or beast mastery hunters, because if you look at the balance paradigm so far, hunters started out survival, went beast mastery, stayed beast mastery, then marksman got buffed, and then everyone's marksman now. So how are they gonna balance that out now? Because what if survival is super fucking awesome and marksman and beast mastery suck, and then you have your 2 or 3 hunters in your raid have to go melee, and then you go from 3 or 4 melee, a healthy number, to 7 or 8. Like, in Mythic it'll matter. In Heroics it won't matter. But in Mythic, it'll definitely matter. And then that'll just come down to what your raid needs, and what your raid determines to be important, and what your raid leader decides. What do you mean? Random when referring to gaming? Of course! But IDC? Absolutely. What are you talking about? The word random is awesome in terms of gaming. Are you kidding? One of the largest booming industries in games right now is roguelikes. It's all random. Every time you play the game, it's random. Because it's fun. Binding of Isaac, Secrets of Grandia, the stupid sailing game right now. Oh god, I can't think of Nuclear Throne. Welcome to the Enter the Gungeon. Like, all these roguelike-ish games are incredibly popular and fun because no game is ever the same. If every game you play is the same, like World of Warcraft Dungeons, there's nothing to ever look forward to. It's the same thing every time you do it. It's just not... Yeah, any dungeon raider zone. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't know if survival will be a viable spec. We hope it's a viable spec. Hopefully. It'll suck if it's not. Thoughts on a major server merge, say 50 total, feels like a trim down on the Wrath pop levels. They could merge more servers into larger battle groups. I don't know if the technology is really there to make like a US realm and a EU realm, but you're still on your server for at least phasing purposes. I don't know. I don't know. If they... Slowpoke, if the enemies, missions, and locations were always randomized in adventure modes, again, like, if you ever played Binding of Isaac, they make it work. Like, you get different rooms now and then, and the enemy combinations are the same, but no run is the same, ever. Diablo style, where you had a series of boss mechanics the AI would choose from when it spawns and so on. Exactly. You can expand it like that. Exactly. Like some bosses could have different mechanics. Like, say the boss you fight in the Dead Mines gets to pick when it spawns, like 3 or 4 mechanics, like mortar shells, bomb dropping, mine laying, AoE blast shot, something like that. And when it spawns, it gets 2 or 3 of them. So every time you fight him, he doesn't have the same abilities. But again, I don't think these abilities need to be like nail-bitingly punishing, like you stand in the bomb and you die, because you can solo these things. It's all about HP. If the HP feels like it's a worthwhile encounter, it'll be good. Because if you're like way over geared for the adventure modes, then it'll feel like Diablo when you're playing on a lower difficulty. You'll just shit on everything and nothing does any damage to you at all. And then it becomes too easy to farm the materials or rewards or mats or profession stuff you can get in these adventures. I stop feeling like an MMO or an RPG and more like a Monster Hunter game for PC, raid, and what's the point of playing? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the WoW needs things to do outside of raiding that's not just PvP, because PvP at an endgame point still has like a, which I hope changes in Legion, because now that there's no like gear grind in Legion for PvPers, you can kind of feel like you are just playing for skill, prestiging for rewards and cosmetics, and actually being just good at PvP. So we'll see. Right, yeah. It's just, what would the adventure mode mean? So, I have no idea. I mean, it was fun to talk about it, but I'm just blowing smoke out of my ass, basically. Yeah, the adventure mode has me think of something like Tavern Brawls in Hearthstone. Exactly. Yeah, I never played City of Heroes, so I never know how it was played, but randomizing dungeon maps? I mean, if they could make a technology with that, again, all these things sound wonderful, but I don't think Blizzard has either the time, resources, or feel to get this all done. Face taking a nap. Sex room. Yeah, there's so many cool locations in WoW, it's just empty. Yeah. No, oh, they're not empty. There's no reason to go there. Shadow Labs that mind controlled the whole group and made them attack the healer. Oh, the mind control in Shadow Labs is pretty fun. That's a good idea, yeah. What I think Holy Paladins will be named to? Redeemers, Crusaders, Light Bearer, I don't know. And I'm not gonna come up with like moniker names that would be like stuck with the game for all time. It's hard just a ream roll. That's funny. Sunless Sea was the game I was talking about earlier, yeah. FTL, Dwarf Fortress Rogue Legacy. I'm catching up to chat room. Okay, I caught up. I did not see that, Fresh Kid. I did not. Adventure mode, like the key runs in Isle of Thunder. Yeah, but the key runs in Isle of Thunder were always the same. The treasure trove was basically the exact same layout every time you go in. It's just how you perform in there. If it was different every time, yeah. Oh, of course. Absolutely. Cleric. Yeah, Cleric would work. Templar. Yeah. Not every special station is getting renamed, but many of them will be getting renamed, I'm sure. That's the timer! I will, I'll give another couple of minutes on this real quick. Because I talked a lot about this adventure mode system, and I'll just go a little bit longer. I don't just mod people in chat when they ask. COD kid, sorry. Or COD kid. Call of Duty, I suppose. Also, your name scares me. XXCOD kid 888XX. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. Well, the weekend events, yeah, they last 6 days now. They start on Wednesday and they go all the way till Monday. They're basically like week-long events that just reset on the reset day. Yeah, they don't really do a whole lot outside of that. Yeah, they don't do a whole lot outside of that. Get my lounge chair back, man. That's what I'm talking about. I don't... Berserker, Arms, Blade Master, Protection Knight. Yeah, I mean, I think they could make the names of the specs a lot more to not be a descriptor. Like, an elemental shaman is just like, that's a adjective. That's not a moniker to describe it. It's just that it uses elemental stuff. It's a descriptive word of what they're using. But like a knight is very much more descriptive of what type of person, what type of character it is versus like, I'm a protection warrior. Like, protection. That's what you do. You protect your raid because you're a tank. But yeah, exactly. I think they could really work. So yeah, we'll see. Sounds legit. All right, Nymphy. Yeah, there's weekly events now, basically. Well, you're not the greatest ray of sunshine either, Hystera. Bum, bum, time walking will be a separate thing. Well, I still think time walking. I don't know how time walking, if they're going to keep time walking around in the next expansion. I don't know. Because it depends on what adventure mode is. Because I still think time walking should have been a toggle, not a queue. And it could do any past dungeon. But if they make adventure mode this like new worldwide exploration, sort of roguelike-ish, repeatable content, it kind of means like time walking could almost be dead. Time walking could go away with Legion. It could just be the thing that right now that holds us over until the next expansion, then it's just gone. So. But I think artifact progression gives us multiple play styles similar to different sets. It's so weird that the stupid sets like the seats go away. Multiple play styles. I don't know if the game's gonna be that expansive to have multiple play styles. Like, I think it would be cool if the artifacts gave us like different attack animations or spell casting stuff or changed some cosmetical things, because they're like a talent tree as well. They're like a talent tree. So we'll see. They really didn't show us much at Gamescom, so. Yeah, Templar. Well, level syncing is what Final Fantasy XIV has, yeah. So I don't know what they'll do with that, honestly. If you had to be locked in a room with either me or Packers for a month, which would you choose and why? That's a terrible question. Next. Yeah, Retribution, I think sounds okay, but it could get better. Yeah, Marksman Hunter makes sense. A Beast Master Hunter makes sense, you know. Survival is just a descriptive word. So, it just, like, says what you're doing. There it is. I can't answer that question. Who's going to be the next topic for Warlords of Ketchup? That information is on the guide, which I can end this episode with. If you have any other curiosities about the show or commands in the chat room, just type !guide. Brings you to a great little Google Doc that I keep updated with past shows, special events, special guest episodes, like the Epic WoW Battles of History, or all the dev interviews that I have done, as well as different commands to guides in chat for different specs in the game, and as well as a little bit of an update on the upcoming schedule, and in the future, I'll be updating the schedule on the guide channel, as well as the next show command. Works just fine. But thank you all for being here. If you're in the live chat room right now, I'm not leaving yet, but if you're on YouTube right now, this is where we part ways. Thank you all for watching. If you have questions, save them for the next AMA.